Well, the Northern governors right there speaking in one voice against the tax reform, VAT, which they say will not pay the people of the North, I guess in other parts of the country also now. The mobile telecom subscription in Nigeria has declined about 30%, and that has happened between March and September. It went from 219 million to 153 million. And this is because the regulator barred some SIM card because of registration and not meeting up with the requirement of the SIM-NIN linkage. I mean, that's no longer news. It's been in the news and there's been extension over time. And so we've seen now that 65 million SIM cards have been disconnected, and telecom subscription has dropped by 30%. Is now at 153 million. Should we be worried? Or should we say at least this is a workable number? We're having this conversation now with Oluwole Abegunde. He's a research director at Insight. He joins us right here in the studio. Hi, Oluwole. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So that's a huge number cut off right there from about 219 to 153. But I mean, if we say this is happening because due course or the due steps have been taken, so we can be sure that we have the data of 153 million. Should we be happy with that?
Absolutely, we should be happy with that. Let me see the background. So previous administrations, even before this government, have been trying to move the country from that oil economy, commodities, into that digital space where services can be created. And the background for that is telecoms. Now you want to ensure that that space is safe. There is limited fraud, and there are challenges. Law enforcement can go to the right telcos to get details of whoever is involved. That is what is driving this. So in 2020, the NCC started that mandate to ensure that if you have a SIM card, you need to link that with your NIN, so that if you make a call and there's a problem with that call, we can go to whoever your provider is and get that data out. So the fact that we have about 153 million, that is good. And I don't think the telcos are not happy, and they are surprised also. I don't think they're surprised.
But that's less revenue for them.
Yes, it is, but even for them, it is good. Because what that allows them to do is to manage what they have and create services that can fit into those buckets. One of the things that the NCC did was, or the mandates that they gave, was that if you're under 18 right now, you can't register a SIM card anymore. That means if you're a father, you're a mother, you have a family, and you have kids who use mobile phones, you now have to register on their behalf. What that does for MTN, Globalcom, Nine Mobile, or Airtel is to create a family plan that can accommodate that. That didn't exist before. It's an opportunity they can now take advantage of and maximize.
Okay, so you say we should be happy with the 153 million because it should mean that we have appropriate data.
Yes.
And we can maximize the benefit of having our data. But, you know, we still have a lot of questions. When this conversation of linking and submitting your data started, one of the hope or expectation was, for instance, security. People are still getting defrauded, and banks are still being used to, you know, get out the money. And we don't seem to be able to get benefits from that. So, I mean, why should I be happy? There's a pruning of the subscription, and yet we don't seem to be getting those benefits.
What we should expect that to change drastically over the coming years. Because right now, what the NCC is doing is ensuring that if somebody makes a call today, they can go to the right telcos to go and get that kind of data. Before, I read a report online, one of the dailies, and it was found out that some people have over 100,000 SIM cards. One individual, over 100,000 SIM cards. They can do a lot with that. That is being taken care of now.
Who's taking care of it, and how are they taking care of it?
No, the telcos have disconnected those kind of lines.
Because we still have those calls, you understand, that we know are fraudulent. We still have them going. We still have people using other people's lines to commit fraud and get their money out.
So there are various layers to that. So what the NCC is ensuring is that if I, for example, place a call to you and the call is fraudulent, they can go to my provider and get my details. Now, the NCC is not law enforcement. Law enforcement, we know who they are, and they can pursue that with the provider. So what the NCC is ensuring is that that opportunity is available. If somebody makes a call and there's a problem with the call, that individual can be identified. And that can't be done unless you link your NIN to your SIM card.
Okay, so now we have the assurance that this 153 million have their data stored. So if I get a fraudulent call and I want to follow up, what do I do? Who do I go to?
So you go to law enforcement.
I go to law enforcement to get the details?
No, to report the call.
Okay.
Law enforcement will, of course, interview, interrogate you and get the number. Now, with that, they can go and get the warrant to go to whoever the provider is and understand who is this person. And because now we're sure that the NIN has been linked to the SIM card, it means that it will be identical. We can trace, we know the person's name, number, age, where they live, this kind of details that can help law enforcement do their job.
If the willingness is there.
If the willingness is there. But at least the opportunity is there for them to be able to do that.
Okay.
Previously, that wasn't available.
So what are some of the other benefits we should expect from this, properly documented 53 million subscribers?
So again, it helps the telcos to really drill down. They are sitting on a lot of data on each subscriber. So this helps them to drill down, to understand who this subscriber is, what has it been with us for 10 years, what have we done for them, what do they need, and how can we provide those kind of needs to them. So it forces them now, like I said, they're not surprised about these disconnections. They've been away for about 4 years. It's a long time coming. So now that that has been pruned up, they now have a set of people that they can now drill down on and offer services that matter to them, not just generic mass services that they've been offering over.
And they're asking for tariff hike.
Yes.
So now that the number has been further pruned, I'm sure they will need even more increase in their tariff, yeah?
Yes, of course. But again, I believe that one of the things they can do is increase their share of wallet in each subscriber. Because what has happened since COVID is that, especially for data services now, people are doing a lot more with data services. Watching streaming, YouTube, learning, watching church services, mobile banking. Now the telcos need to understand who that subscriber is. What does he do with data? And how can we help him achieve his goals at the end of the day? That might mean him spending more if they do their jobs properly.
If a quality of service
absolutely
is good.
It's good, yes. That is foundation. That is foundation. For data. For voice, the latency doesn't really matter. If I call you, hello, hi, can you hear me, Ini? Can you hear me? But if I'm streaming YouTube, watching a live show, latency is important. So for data, it's even foundational. It has to be important.
Have you heard anything about their request for tariff hike? Is it getting any green light?
They're meeting with the government. There are talks here and there. It's on ending. I know there are campaigns from their side to increase. Government is saying...
Yeah, they've even been on our show. Asking for that. So before now.
I think the government is trying to look for the best timing for it. In my opinion, it's not an if.
Would there ever be a good timing for it?
If we want to save the industry, yes, absolutely. We have to.
Yeah, we've heard, especially MTN has been very bold in asking for that. But just before I let you go, the thing about linkage to BVN and the fraud that's carried out and people trying to trace their money, somebody loses a phone and all of that. Does this help in any way?
Absolutely. Because right now, if for the banks, for example, the BVN, the NIN, and the SIM card are 3 ways that you can be identified. And thank goodness for the CBN policy about open banking. People like the telcos can actually share data with the banks because they also have open bank services. So that can help. So you have 3 points of call, NIN, SIM, and your BVN. They should be able to track whoever is doing fraud on those kind of lines if they do their job. Yeah, they should be able to. Emphasis on the should. And we look forward to when, all of this will work and a whole lot more. Thank you so much for your time. Oluwole Abegunde, the Research Director at Insights. Thank you for having me. Let's take a break. When we come back, we do have the markets and other segments awaiting you. Stay with us.